Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
The family of Dee Warner speaking out and demanding justice in her disappearance and death. And that tops our show today at noon. I'm Kim DiGiulio. It has been 3 years since Dee was last seen alive until her body was found inside of a chemical storage tank. Her husband, Dale Warner, is currently charged with her murder, and now Dee's family is filing a civil lawsuit. Our Pamela Osborne is live with the details. Pam, what is the family demanding now?
Well, Kim, that family is looking for upwards of $100 million. Let's get back to the civil suit that was filed today against Dale Warner. They're saying that he is the sole person responsible for her death. We, of course, know that he has been charged. He is awaiting trial on those charges. Let me explain what the attorneys are saying here. So Attorney Todd Flood says Dale Warner has money. How much? They aren't exactly sure, but they know it's somewhere in the millions, and that at least some of it is connected to a property conversion. Dale Warner, who is in jail ahead of his criminal trial, has had access to that money, and attorneys say he should not.
A wrongful death case, so he was the proximate cause of the homicide of his wife. So that is, in anyone's case, in a civil setting, you kill somebody, it's a wrongful death lawsuit. The funds belong to the offspring, to the inheritance of these children.
And we know that a freeze has been placed on that money. An expert has been hired to help figure out exactly how much money Dale Warner is in possession of. They're expecting this civil suit could last for about a year. Reporting live tonight, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
Interesting little tidbit that he has that much money. Thank you, Pam. And happening in an hour, a former security guard charged in Danielle Tizlicki's murder is expected to appear for a pre-trial hearing. Tizlicki went missing over 8 years ago after leaving work in Southfield. In February, a pre-trial hearing brought Floyd Galloway into court for the first time in a few years. Galloway is currently serving 16 to 35 years in prison for the kidnapping and sexual assault of another woman, which happened a few months before Tizlicki's disappearance. That hearing is expected to start at 1 p.m. The Taylor Police Department is taking action against unauthorized parking and vehicle gatherings at a retail shopping center after complaints from property owners. Tire marks from vehicle stunts and donuts cover the parking lot at the crossings at Taylor over on Eureka Road. Police issued warnings on social media about potential fines, citations, and vehicle impoundment. The department emphasized that this enforcement extends beyond the crossing, and similar actions at other properties will face the same consequences. Happening today, drivers with a suspended license have a chance to get behind the wheel once again. The Road to Restoration Clinic happening today in Pontiac. The clinic is aimed at helping drivers get driving privileges restored and figure out what the steps are that they need to take. Now, the clinic says that this is as long as drivers pay those unpaid fees or fines. Secretary of State and Volunteer Attorney Services will be available on site. Residents can get things including vision testing and the written driver's exam. That event runs until 4 p.m. Happening later today, city leaders are meeting to make changes on neighborhood streets in Corktown. It's focused on improvements for Ash Street, 14th Street, and 10th Street. But before all of this work starts, the city is inviting residents to a community meeting. The Planning and Development Department present the ideas tonight at Detroit's Police Athletic League on Michigan Avenue. That event runs from 5 until 7:30 p.m. Well, boating season is officially underway in Wayne County, and the Wayne County Sheriff's Marine Unit is making sure everyone is safe on the water during the holiday weekend. I had the chance to go by the water for our show on Local 4 Plus. Take a look. Memorial Day weekend, it really does kick off boating season. But before we have all the fun, we want to make sure that you remember all of the safety that goes into having a fun and safe boating season. So we've got the sheriff with us from Wayne County, Raphael Washington. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good to be here this morning in all of this wind.
Oh, I know. It doesn't really feel like boating season is here, but it certainly is. And just this weekend, we're going to be seeing a whole lot of boats out here. What's the number one thing that that you think boaters need to know before getting out on the water?
I think the number one thing is that boaters be very aware that they have a life jacket, a life vest ready, as readily accessible if they're not wearing it. We want them to wear a life vest, but if they're not wearing it, that it be right there near them in the unlikely event that something happens on the water.
I was going to say, because a lot of times, you see pictures of people out on their boats and they're not in a life jacket.
But hopefully it's right there with them.
Okay, because let's say you do pull a boat over and they're not wearing their life jackets. You're not going to issue a ticket for that, right?
We're not out here to issue tickets. We're out here to advise that maybe they should. But we want people to have a good time on the water this season. And we're not out here to write tickets. We just want you to be very safe out here.
And that might be a common misconception because people think, oh, they're just trying to write tickets. They got to make enough money for whatever it is. No, you want people to have fun.
We want people to have fun. This is nice. Boating is nice out. I don't have a boat, but I do have friends. And yes, and I'm out there with them, and it's a good time. So we just want people to have a good time.
So speaking of life jackets, it's not mandatory to be wearing them while on the boat, but you should have it very nearby, unless you're under what age?
Unless you're under 6 years old.
6 years old, okay.
You must have they must have some kind of life vest on.
But then we do see a lot of jet skiers out on the water as well. That's mandatory, right?
That is mandatory, and you can't operate a jet ski if you're under 14 and under. So we ask people to be very careful and watch that as they're out on jet skis, because that is mandatory, and we will have to talk to you about that.
Are there separate boating rules when it comes to jet skiing versus just a normal power boat?
No, it's just not really. The rules are all the same. We just want people to be safe. We want them to have vest on, life vest on, and if they're in jet skis and if they're on a boat, again, have it very accessible to them. This can't be stored in a locked box on the boat or anything like that. It has to be very close to you if you're not wearing it at all.
And I'm sure you know all too well how a life jacket could really save lives, and it's just so crucial to have.
Absolutely, and please, you must have it on your boat. Mm-hmm. So if we don't see you on, and for some reason we have to get on the boat, on your boat, to see what's going on with it, it can't be locked away. Okay. That's a problem.
Yeah. Well, Sheriff Washington, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and look forward to a wonderful boating season out here on the river and all of our amazing lakes all around Metro Detroit.
That's right. That's right. That's what we're hoping for, and that's what I'm sure is going to happen if they do the right thing.
Absolutely. We just need it to warm up before we can get out on the water. But today, a little chillier, but guess what? It's your chance to go out and help us go for it and become a CPR lifesaver. We're teaming up with the City of Detroit and the Detroit Fire Department to teach hands-only CPR. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge is out live at the Coleman A. Young Recreation Center with more on the life-saving work that's being done. And how's the turnout look there today?
Well, you know, Kim, we have been able to keep up with the turnout, so there is no wait. If anybody wants to come down and get trained in CPR, just come on down, whether you pre-registered or not. And we've got people learning CPR. We've also got, better than anything, honestly, free blood pressure, cholesterol, and hemoglobin A1C. That's your blood sugar for diabetes screening. All of that is completely free. So if you come on out, you can learn CPR and you can get some free health screening from the Detroit Health Department. Now, I'm actually joined by by Jeff Forbes, Captain Jeff Forbes with Detroit EMS. And, you know, Jeff, in addition to the importance of CPR, you've also been focused on AEDs. Talk about Detroit's success in AED promotion.
Yeah, so this is a great event today, like you said. But the next step with learning CPR is knowing where your nearest AED is. About a year and a half ago when I started mapping AEDs, we knew where about 4 AEDs were in the city of Detroit. Now we know where over 600 AEDs are. The important thing is knowing where that AED is and downloading the yellow Pulse Point AED app. As you can see, they're mapped throughout the city, so in the event of a cardiac arrest, it'll tell you where the nearest AED is.
And that's helpful for your dispatchers as well, because without an AED, the chain of survival is not as strong, because you have to wait for EMS to get there, potentially.
Yep, 100%. You know where that AED is, start CPR, send someone to get the AED, put it on as soon as you get it, and let's together, let's help save a life as a community.
That is exactly it. And, you know, the importance of hands-only CPR, how dramatic an improvement have you seen over the years in terms of survival in the city of Detroit?
Oh, it's been incredible. The amount of bystander CPR that we're seeing right now has literally gone through the roof. A lot of our crews are calling me and said, hey, we've seen a huge difference here. We're actually seeing people do CPR before we arrive, and that is the #1 thing to help somebody's chance of survival.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for coming out and talking with the audience about this. This is a really important initiative. Please come out, take some time, learn hands-only CPR, and get some free health screenings from the Detroit Health Department. Tim, back to you.
Dr. Frank McGeorge, great advice there. And as you just saw on the screen, the QR code to register. But as he mentioned, you can just come in and walk-ins are welcome, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, well, it is a good day to be inside and get that training because it's not that nice outside, Ashley.
No, I was there earlier and just walking in and out of the building, there's that fine mist out there. So even though we're not dealing with heavy rain and we're kind of in a lull, we still have a lot of moisture that's being spit out from the clouds in the form of that fine mist. I put our ruler on here to show you about an 80-mile difference from that first wave that lifted to what we are tracking down towards Toledo, and that's lifting north. So that's going to be skirting the east side as we progress throughout the afternoon. Now, we do have some lightning just south of Toledo, but as far as right now, we're in a little bit of that lull. So we'll put that on the now right now, but you saw that that was more of a northerly motion. But let's go ahead and talk temperatures as we do have some really cool conditions out there. We're talking 50s for most of us. And we started off the day right around 50, so we've only gone up a degree or two. 52 in Detroit, 53 in Ann Arbor. We're shy of 50 in Pontiac at 49 and 55 in Monroe. That east-northeasterly wind about 10 miles per hour will likely even make it feel a smidge cooler out there. So your hourly forecast throughout the rest of the afternoon, still holding on to those rain chances, and they will be building in and coming in waves over the course of the next really 36 hours. And so we'll hover in the 50s throughout the afternoon. You could see some gusts peak around 20 to 25 miles per hour, but it feels like fall. And it's going to feel that way all the way through the rest of the work week as highs are only in the upper 50s. We start a gradual warming trend heading into the holiday weekend, but will it stay dry? We'll have more details on that coming up.